offered by that parcel of land, which is think that is automatically a given. Like I'm just trying to the stream.
All right, following guidance issued by the state in 2020, we are conducting this special Board of Selectmen May 3rd meeting via Zoom. As you are all aware, the agenda is posted on the website and the link to the Zoom call is on the agenda. And the purpose of this meeting is for us to vote on the debt exclusion for the community center and then to approve the June 12th special town election warrant.
Sounds good.
All right.
Gotta do the roll call.
Yeah, take attendance.
Right. Oh, sorry. So first order of business is roll call. Robin Hunter here.
Bob Sprant, present.
John Jeffries here.
All right. And is there any discussion regarding the debt exclusion for the community center? Because then I'll just make the motion.
The only issue I had looking through the documentation was I guess it's page 7. So it says additional, the debt exclusion, additional costs for the construction and renovation of the Carroll Community Center and an outdoor recreation court and swing area for the Carroll Community Center. It's pretty, so my only question is, we had asked people back in November to look for philanthropic or other costs, areas to cover outdoor expenses related to the community center. And so my only question is, if the swing set and the whatever it is, base recreation court don't pass, what happens?
Right. So
immediately get eliminated from the.
Right. So that was one of my questions, because I believe for the town meeting, it's 2 separate warrants. So yes. Do we need 2 separate warrants for the ballot as well?
Right.
So you don't.
Okay.
And this is just sort of the uniqueness of Massachusetts and how this works. What town meeting is doing in authorizing the debt is independent of this debt exclusion. So town meeting, as I think you're pointing out, could vote the first question, the base project, yes, and then vote the second question, the outdoor recreation court and swing area, no.
Correct.
But that doesn't affect the vote of that will go on the ballot. It just means we wouldn't have authority. The ballot will have approved the debt exclusion for a larger amount, but we wouldn't have the authority to spend the money for the recreation court in the swing area.
So we're going to raise 6.7 million or 6.8 million?
Depends on what town meeting approves.
Is that what you said? I'm not sure that's what I heard.
Well, so the town meeting approves the dollar amount.
Right, which is the first warrant article, and that's 6.6 million.
Well, there are 2 warrant articles.
Yeah, we haven't written the motions yet. So I think it's 6.6 and then the million for, 100, whatever it is,
74,000.
Yeah. But the warrant, the vote doesn't speak to dollars. It just speaks to the project. So you won't see anywhere in what the voters will vote on. You won't see any reference to dollars, and that's by law. That's not our particular choice. That's what the statute requires.
So just to paraphrase, Carl, are you saying that if town meeting only approves 6.6, it doesn't matter what this ballot says, the debt exclusion will only be for 6.6 million?
The amount we could borrow would be no more than 6.6.
Okay,
All
Right.
right, but you don't think it's confusing to people at the ballot? Because here it's specifically these two bullets are for both. So why wouldn't you just say additional costs for the construction and renovation of the Carroll Community Center as voted on at town meeting? Because it
Because
may
town meeting may have,
not.
town meeting may have failed at town meeting. One or both of them may have failed at town meeting, so we can't use the ballot question to point backwards to town meeting. We could make this two questions if you wanted to have on the ballot two separate
But then I don't
questions.
understand what you're saying, because you're telling me that, oh, I am understanding from what you're saying that this ballot will only approve a debt exclusion for whatever was approved at the dollar amount that was approved at town meeting.
Yes.
So then if that's the case, why can't you say additional costs as approved at town meeting? Because if nothing was approved at town meeting, then there won't be any additional costs. I mean, I'm just saying that it is confusing. If I came to the ballot without having this conversation with you, or without attending town meeting, which, trust me, there'll be a bunch of people that won't attend town meeting that will just come to vote, I would be very confused about what I was voting for.
Hmm. So I guess I have two questions. One is I think you're asking if we should put a reference in here to town meeting.
I'm trying to make
Yeah.
this less confusing for the
Yeah.
voter. And since I don't know what's going to happen at town meeting, I think it's important that the voter understands that their vote is subject first and foremost to the town meeting vote. So if something was not approved at town meeting, the vote on this ballot is meaningless.
so could you just so I'm back to the issue at hand here. So the last part of that says the amount required to pay for the bond issued in order to undertake the following projects. Can you just add as approved by town meeting?
I want to clear it with bond counsel. But if bond counsel was okay with either putting it there or putting it as part of each of the two bullets, because each of the two bullets are separate votes at town meeting. We have two warrant articles. But if either one was acceptable to bond counsel, then we can do that.
Okay, because to undertake the following projects as approved would apply. I don't think you need it twice, I think you need it just once. But anyway, I'm happy to live with that.
Right.
Yeah, maybe as approved or maybe as considered, because we don't know if it's going to be approved.
Well, if it's not approved, it's not going to matter, right?
Right. I mean, this is where we're getting hung up, Carl. If it's not approved at town meeting, and maybe I'm wrong, it can't be overwritten
Town election.
at the
You
town
need the
election,
2/3.
because it's a two-prong approval.
Well, it can't, you're right. It can't because of the way the town meeting vote is written, which is a contingent vote. So you're right. If it wasn't written as a contingent vote, then the two would operate independently. But because the vote at town meeting is contingent on the debt exclusion, so it's only, town meeting approves it, but it doesn't take effect unless this second action also happens.
But the reverse is true as well. If something fails at town meeting, it cannot be approved by the vote. Is that a correct statement?
That is correct.
So we need some clarifying language here, right?
Right.
And Chris, Carl, you're gonna review that with bond counsel.
Right, so just what you're suggesting, Bob, is following, after it says following project, you're suggesting adding the words as,
Approve that town
Mm.
meeting, special town meeting, June
Yeah.
3rd.
okay. I'll check that with bond counsel.
John, you good with that?
I'm good with this, but I have questions on a different procedural part of the bond.
Okay, shoot.
Do you want to cover that now, or do you want to cover all the questions
You want to
now?
go back to the original motion?
No, I just I don't think that my question is not pertaining to the original motion. I think this this discussion, there's really nothing more to add to this discussion where we're kind of going back and forth over the same thing, right? So
Okay.
it's
Well, we're just getting clarity.
yeah. And I don't want to add any more to what everybody has said so far. There's
So
really,
I'm back on page 3 on that 1.1.
yeah,
So,
okay.
so actually, let me just before John goes into this, I just want to think sort of legally here. Because we have this 35-day limit. It has to be, you can't call an election, which you haven't voted yet to actually call the election. But it has to be within 35 days. So if the wording, you can certainly call the election, you can take that action. But you're not approving the wording yet because you're questioning the wording of the ballot question.
Well, Carl, you understand, we want council to make sure, it needs to get amended however council believes is appropriate. As
Rob.
written right now, we think it's confusing.
No, I appreciate that. I'm just would want, you're sort of authorizing this language, including
As
any,
amended by
as
council.
amended by council. And I just want to make sure that council is okay with that. Bond council's okay with that.
Well, if bond council is not okay with that, then we need to set up another meeting quickly. I mean, so,
It should get done today, right? We should
Right.
be able to get this done today.
Yeah, so we
I
should, it
would-
may be helpful, I'm just thinking today's Wednesday, it may be helpful to then set up another meeting for Friday afternoon, just in
just
case.
in case. Just in case something else needs to get done. So we can cancel the meeting if nothing needs to.
Right.
get-
Yep.
So it's belt and suspenders.
Yes.
Carl, who is our bond counsel that signs the silver book that we get?
Our bond counsel is Rick Manley.
I'm sorry, Rick, what?
Rick Manley at Lock Lord.
Okay. So what do we do? What's the action on this part of the conversation?
I'm going to make a motion as soon as we are all in agreement, and I'm going to make the words as amended. And if that is not acceptable to bond council, then we will have another meeting on Friday with the language that's acceptable to bond council.
But we can do item 1.1, can't we?
So you should do 1.1 first, call for the election
Right.
on June 12th and call for early voting. So for those two motions. So maybe just for some order here, maybe just get that out of the way.
Yeah.
All right.
Do that,
So
please.
I move to call a special town election on Monday, June 12th, 2023, for the purpose of voting on a debt exclusion for the funding of the Carroll Community Project, of the Community Center project.
And then there's the second piece.
Right. I also move to vote to allow early voting in person from June 5th through June 9th, 2023, during the town clerk's regular office hours.
Second,
All in favor? I, Robin Hunter.
hi, Bob Springett.
I, John Jeffries.
All right.
Okay.
Robin, did the last part of that on from what I got to you from Mona says enable more voting options for the June 12th special town election. Did you add that to the motion or was that not added?
I made the motion exactly as it was written in my package.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're just reading the town clerk's memo,
Yes, yes.
John. That wasn't part of the motion.
That wasn't part of the motion. Okay.
Yeah, and it didn't need to be. Yeah.
Was that a mistake or was that on?
No, Alicia was just explaining why she was recommending.
Okay, so that's not a mistake. That was on purpose. Just asking.
So it's 1.2 that we won't vote on
Well, we can vote on it. I'm just gonna say
as amended?
amended, and if bond council doesn't
Okay.
approve that, then we'll have another meeting.
Yeah, well, so
Alright.
why don't you actually, when you say as amended, then say adding the words after projects
Okay,
as approved at the special town meeting on June 3rd, 2023.
okay. So I move to approve the June 12th, 2023 special town election warrant as amended by including the words after project as approved at town meeting on June 3rd, 2023.
Second,
All in favor? I, Robin Hunter.
hi, Bob Springett.
Hi, John Jeffries.
Did that do it, Carl?
That does it.
One question, but before we adjourn, Carl, how do we get more control over the bond process so we don't wake up like we did a month ago and find out we had no idea who this company was that actually placed the bond, holds the bond, and manages the bond?
You lost me there. I'm not.
Yeah, well,
So,
John, it's
Trying
just
to-
the Board of Selectmen had never asked who the company was. The town
Yeah.
knew the company was, and the town, and it is, for lack of a better term, the Goldman Sachs of municipal banking. So it's a very reputable firm.
but how do we know that? What, somebody asks Robin, what do you know? Somebody asked us a month ago, what do you know about this process? The answer was, we don't know anything about it. We don't know anything about the people, and we certainly don't know anything about their strategy. We don't know what it cost us, and we don't know how they went about doing it. We don't know anything. How can that be a good answer?
But that's not the answer, John.
It is the answer. We didn't know that. We didn't know any of that, Robin. You
Shame
didn't
on
know
us,
it.
we didn't ask. you
We
know,
didn't-
the
you
town
didn't-
has used this firm for many years.
That's
I
not a
think,
good answer.
John, this
That's
is.
not a good
this
answer,
is-
Robin. That's never a good answer. You can't, we
And
don't,
John, we need to change the process, and that's a much bigger conversation.
no,
I
it's not.
don't recall 2 years ago when we floated these bonds, there was information provided to us. I don't recall the information that was provided. I don't recall. I just don't recall. I would have to go back and look through my notes.
I get it.
So I think this is a much bigger conversation, and it's not on the agenda for this meeting. What's on the agenda for this meeting is simply what we approved. So
Okay.
if you would like to add that as an agenda, we can add it to our next meeting.
Well, let's definitely add it as an agenda, because the answer we do as a
John,
town.
we
we
can
do
add it
everything.
as an agenda. There's no more deliberation here.
Well, there's not a deliberation. I'm stating facts that as it pertains to what's on our agenda right now, we are woefully unprepared as we were a month ago to answer any of these questions.
You may be woefully unprepared. I am not. I got answers. So we can have that information. We will have this
Did you
conversation.
distribute any
at
of the
our-
answers that you got? How did you?
I
make
did my
those
own,
available?
John, there was,
How did you make those available? The answer is you didn't.
well,
You didn't.
nobody asked me to make them available, John. John, this is a bigger conversation, and I am moving to adjourn this meeting. It will be placed on the agenda for our next meeting.
Which is when,
Do I have a second?
Which is when?
which is the Thursday. the
11th.
11th?
The 11th,
11.
Oh, okay, it's only a week away.
right.
I second the motion to
All
adjourn.
right. All in favor, I, Robin Hunter.
Hi, Bob Springer.
John Jeffries.
All right,
Great.
Good,
Thank
Carl.
you. Thank you. I'll let you know. Oh, wait a minute, you can't adjourn yet. Unadjourned.
we've unadjourned.
You have to call a meeting for, or we need to agree on a time on Friday in case you need a special meeting.
We have to reopen the meeting. We just lost, we lost Ford.
Well, we
Yes.
don't have to reopen the meeting, but you just need to agree.
Can you just have Mona send something out and we
But you-
can just
but you-
coordinate?
But you're all available Friday afternoon? I'm just thinking of the 48
Yes.
hours.
I am up to a certain point in time, then I gotta go to Logan.
I mean, we're gonna,
It'll be early afternoon on Friday for me.
I mean, it's not quite 1 o'clock now, so the soonest we can call it would be Friday, post it right now for Friday at 3. Is
That's
that-
fine.
The
That
earlier
works.
the better.
I can't do it before Friday at 2:45.
All right, as long as they, yeah, if I have to pick somebody up at 4, so I have to leave here.
Okay.
Well,
so
you
we'll
can
post-
call
three.
in, Bob.
Excuse me?
You can call in. If
Yeah.
need.
Carl,
Okay.
could you make it for 4 o'clock or sometime after 4 o'clock? Because literally, I'm gonna be on a boat coming back from the vineyard.
So
You
Bob,
can call in too.
Yeah,
Bob-
exactly.
Bob-
Call in,
Bob,
depending
we-
upon how the wind is blowing.
just agree what time you, 3 of you want it, and we'll post
I
it.
can do it anytime.
I mean, I could do it between 3 and 4, once, but I'll be on either leaving to pick up my son at Logan, and then I'm going to Vermont. So,
Well, I only need 2 of you.
I can do
So-
it anytime. Just pick a time.
I could call in theoretically, even on the road to Vermont. But
Right.
we're sitting in Logan, so that'd work.
3. So Bob, what time is that? What time will you be doing that?
I have to pick him up at 4. I have to be at Logan at 4.
3:30, 4
We'll
o'clock?
do-
Well, Carl, what were you saying about the time?
Well, I'm thinking, does later work better?
I don't know,
you-
Carl. Let's pick a time. How about 4, 3:30?
Yeah, I don't mind doing it while I'm sitting waiting in Logan. That'd be fine.
Right.
Then
Right.
make it, if you gotta be there at 4, Bob, let's make it, it should be very quick, right? We just,
Yeah, well, 4 works, John, if I'm at the airport waiting for him to come off the plane, assuming it's on time.
it'll be early. So,
And naturally.
never what it's supposed to be.
All right, so 4 o'clock, Carl,
4
Robin,
o'clock.
4.
Perfect.
4.
right, we'll post
Four.
before. Great, thanks. Mona, will you stay on, after this so we can coordinate on a few things?
Sure.
And
Okay,
we may not even need the meeting, keep in mind.
Right,
Right.
may not, exactly.
good. Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Okay. Have a good one. Thank
Bye,
you.
guys. Thank you.
Hi, Carol. Wait, let me
Oh.
stop this recording. I don't think I can though. Did you go on stop?
I'll stop it.